The irony of many an America's Cup is that despite the intense scrutiny that's focused on teams and their boats for months, if not years, ahead of the event, when it comes to the match itself, we often know very little. The 37th America's Cup was just that. When Ineos Britannia beat Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in the Louis Vuitton Cup final to become the challenger that would face Emirates Team New Zealand, we knew that their route to success had been a tough one. The racing had been close and the British were battle-hardened. Meanwhile, the rules prevented the defenders from racing against another team after the round-robin stage of the Louis Vuitton Cup. 32 days in which the Kiwis had to sit out the racing and watch the challengers raising their game. They said that they'd made some big improvements with their boat and that they were much quicker.
So Ineos has certainly got a very formidable Emirates Team New Zealand. They have not got the team that they saw in Auckland. They have a completely different team this time. So all in all, I think we're in for a great matchup.
The expectation was that the America's Cup match would be close, but the first race was anything but. Ineos Britannia was stuck on the right-hand side of the course with a battery problem. And while it didn't make them late for the start, it put them on the back foot. The crucial first tack by the Kiwis allowed them to cover the British all the way up the first beat. And from there, the Kiwis surged ahead to take a comfortable win. After a tight start, Emirates Team New Zealand tacked off immediately to head for the right-hand side of the course. The racing was close for the first lap, but the Kiwis were holding their slim lead and their nerve. While the British were keeping the pressure on, getting past was proving hard as Team New Zealand protected the favoured side of the course. And on the second lap, the Kiwis started to pull ahead once again to take the second win of the day by 27 seconds.
Yeah, a couple of wins on the board early is huge in the America's Cup, and for us, we obviously haven't got to race for a very long time, so to go out there and I suppose show that the practice we've been doing has actually been working well, and the boats seem to be going really fast as well, which made our life nice and easy, obviously.
I think it's close, and I think we can beat them, so I take some heart from that, and I know our team are fighters. So I think there's a long way to go with this yet.
There was much closer action in this pre-start. In fact, far closer than anyone was comfortable with.
All the time there. Hey, keep on the foils. Keep on the foils.
And when the umpires had made their call, it was the British that were dealt a penalty. Advantage 75 metres to the Kiwis. Although Ineos managed to offload their penalty efficiently by putting in an early tack, this was not the direction they wanted to go, and they were still trailing the Kiwis. And by the top gate, they'd stretched out to 19 seconds ahead. From here, little changed other than the Kiwi lead, which got to 43 seconds in another flawless performance. But the talk that night was of the near miss at the start.
I think the moment you think, oh, I should avoid risk, is the moment you're not really going for the win. And we're here to win the America's Cup. We're here to race the boat as fast as we can and race the competitor as tough as we can. So I felt that was well inside the risk levels we're happy to deal with. I'm not sure our senior management felt that way, but I think it was all good.
Yeah, it's one of those racing incidents, and of course the umpires, you put it in the hands of the umpires, they've got to make a call. So it is what it is. There is no point moaning about it. We took it on the chin, got back into the race, and I thought we were able to keep it close. And there were a few occasions where the Kiwis did a good job just to find an opportunity to extend. So for us, it's a little bit of a time to regroup and figure out how we sort of take on the, if you like, second half of the competition.
Day 3, and with the score at 3-0, there was plenty of pressure on the British to turn the tide. And up the first beat it showed, as the pair rounded the top gate neck and neck. By the bottom of the first lap, there was still nothing in it, with the Kiwis just 3 seconds ahead. But once again, they managed to turn a tiny advantage into a healthy margin on the second lap to take their 4th win. The next day was a reserve day, which gave Ineos time to regroup, rethink and plan how they could indeed turn that tide.
We're certainly disappointed to be in this position, but we're confident we can come out and beat these guys. And yeah, fine, they've had some luck go their way, but we're going to be due some soon.
Getting better and better all the time, just making less and less mistakes around the racetrack, and yeah, just really excited to carry on the competition really.
Having failed on 4 occasions to come from behind, Ainsley's team knew they had to win the start to stand any chance of putting a point on the board. A poor jibe in the pre-start left the Kiwis dead in the water, and as the British made 2 close passes to spill dirty air on the Kiwis, Ineos had the advantage they were looking for. And while it was difficult staying on their foils, they managed it and took their first win. After a closely fought pre-start, Ineos managed to squeeze ahead on the first leg, leading by just 7 seconds at the top gate. As each team worked opposite sides of the course, the British managed to increase their margin to 9 seconds. The slightest mistake could wipe that out. But Ineos held firm and took their 2nd win. Talk of momentum was now inevitable.
It's a massive day for the team. We really needed that, and to come out and get 2 wins on the board, it's a real shift in momentum. And I think really the trick for our team now is to jump all over that momentum and take it all away.
We've been saying the whole time, starting's critical in this America's Cup, and if you start well, it makes your life so much easier. And one race today we gave up minutes, and the other one we gave up a couple of metres, and it's quite hard to get back into it. But overall we're pretty happy that we're able to keep that second race super close the whole way around and push Ben and the team right to the very end. And I think there's going to be a lot more of that coming up.
Off the start line, the British appeared to have the early advantage, but a right-hand puff and shift accelerated the Kiwis. And when they came together, the Kiwis blocked the British path and defended the right-hand side of the course. It didn't take long for this side to pay dividends, as the Kiwis pulled out a 200-metre lead. And while Ineos were able to haul some distance back, Emirates Team New Zealand completed another comprehensive win. In this race, Ineos started with speed off the line and confidence from their 2 wins. But the Kiwis were still able to squeeze ahead on the opening leg. From there, they strung together the shifts and puffs with apparent ease on a very tricky day to extend their lead to 50 seconds. Theirs had been a confident and flawless race. The America's Cup was now just a point away for the Kiwis. Do or die for the Brits.
For our team, nothing really changes from here. We know the last one's always going to be the hardest one. And
for us, though, now we know that there's no second chances. We've got to win every race from now on in.
One more race to secure victory for Emirates Team New Zealand, or one more chance to stay in the game for Ineos Britannia. There was plenty riding on this race. But despite some close action early on, the Kiwis rounded the top gate 19 seconds ahead. And while the British got back to within a whisker of passing Emirates Team New Zealand, the Kiwis' defence was strong. one lap later, Emirates Team New Zealand crossed the finishing line to take the 37th America's Cup. Today is the day that this team and all their supporters, and there's thousands of them here, have been working towards for 3 years. And now they've got it, the 37th America's Cup. And what an achievement. No other team has achieved this in the modern era 3 times in a row. It is quite remarkable. They've led the foiling agenda for over a decade now, and they're continuing to lead the way. Going into this event several months ago, there were all kinds of theories on the pundits on who was going to do what, who was going to have the upper hand, who would be the dominant challenger or challengers. And to be honest, most of those theories were wrong. But the one thing that most people had right was that this team was going to be very, very hard to beat. And they went into this event as the favourites, and they've come out of it as just that. Dominant America's Cup victors, and well-deserved victors with it.
I mean, the end of the America's Cup's always a slightly weird feeling because you're always ready to go for more, but I think it's just slowly sinking in what we've actually managed to achieve, and just an unbelievable feeling, and what an amazing group to be sharing it with.
Here we go, Barcelona! Let's give it up for winning!
A sustainable future. Yanmar.